Hey, it's Heather Victoria, and I'm here with the one and only David Duane.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to On Air with your one and only rock star on the mic, David Duane, in the place to be right here, right now. We've got Heather Victoria on with us now. If you guys don't know who Heather is, man, where have you guys been? Heather has this dope single out that's called Japan. And listen, you guys got to check out that acoustic video because it's just like everything. She's just bringing hip hop, R&B, neo soul, and she's so gorgeous. What's going on, Heather?
What's going on? Happy to be here. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Listen, I am a new fan of yours, I have to say. So, I've got to always be honest. And I have to say, you're incredible. And you've been doing music for such a while and you've been staying consistent, in the business. Like, that's incredible that you've, continued on your path and stuff like that as long as it's been. Because a lot of people, even taking time out in a hiatus a little bit. Now, I'm not even going to say it's a hiatus, more like a public hiatus. Like, sometimes people get discouraged, but it's like, no, you're staying consistent. You're like, listen, I'm working on this brand new album that you guys are about to get that's coming out later this fall. And, you're staying consistent. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We're trying our best, and it's definitely a day-to-day grind. And I'm just really happy to be here and have experienced the growth that I've gone through and to get ready for new things and new music.
Exactly. So let's talk about, the fact of, going to college in North Carolina and being from North Carolina and then, kind of linking with Ninth Wonders like that, because I think like the whole connection of like your college story and how you guys connected is so dope. Let the listeners know like about how you guys connected.
Oh, cool. Okay. So originally I was at North Carolina State University. I went there for a year and a half, and at the time, my best friend from high school was attending North Carolina Central University, which is only about 20 minutes down the road. So I was visiting her a lot, and I started to get more information about the music community at Central. And at the time, it was a brand new class called the History of Hip Hop that Ninth was one of the professors for. So I really just chose to transfer schools based on all the different things that Central had to offer, including the science class.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty funny because I was influenced by the nature of his class and having like kind of snuck in his class to visit the class before I even went to Central.
Right.
And I was blown away of culture that class brought. It was a wonderful introduction for me as being one of the first electives that I took at the school. It was just like night and day from transferring from a PWI, and I love my PWI as well. Met a lot of great people, but Central just ended up being the best school for me. So I just want to take you there. I literally transferred from state. I walked into ninth class being one of my electives, and he's on the turntables and he's playing samples. And in that moment, in that first day of class, I learned so much about hip hop because I'm an R&B person. I'm a soul person. My parents are both the same. And I've always liked rap, but it was always the people who were like on the surface and the people who my mama would let me listen to every once in a while, which was Missy Elliott or Salt and Pepper, the edited version.
Right, because that's how parents used to be.
Right.
No explicit.
I did not know that Ninth was Ninth Wonder. I just was introduced to him as my professor and a really, really great person in the industry. I didn't have much information about him in detail, but after a while, I started to get word on the street was that he had access to a studio on campus at the time. This was 10 years ago. This was like 2009. And at that time, the only songs that I'd recorded were back home, which was like over an hour away, and I didn't have a car. So my next plan was to just get my music into his hands so he can give me an opinion.
Right.
I didn't even have intentions of, trying to become an artist under JAMLA or anything of that nature. I just wanted to grow and I wanted to get his opinion because he has such a great reputation. So after like 3 or 4 times of me asking, including me writing him on Facebook, and he never responded, I was just really persistent, and I literally had a demo on a CD. And one day after class, he was like, just come to the studio at 4 o'clock, and I'm going to see what you got. So that's what happened. I went over to the studio. He played my track. And then, like, everybody in the studio, which was mostly rappers and producers, started coming into the room and, you know, bopping their head and was like, yo, who is this? And I'm like, that's me. And they're like, what? So, you know, at the time, I didn't know whether it was really good or was it just okay. But at the time, you know, everybody in the room, including Ninth, and made me feel welcome. They made me feel like I had a gift and I had something special. And it really happened organically at the time because Jammer wasn't even a thing yet.
Yeah,
It
no.
was something that was still developing. So that's how it happened.
Wow. But when you think back to it in just that story in itself, which is absolutely incredible because it's not one of these, this is not one of those stories that you typically hear. Like, you know, you take a class with a producer and you really not even realize of who they are and to their caliber, which is a good thing to some certain extent because, you know, you were just taking a class. You were, you know, humbly just trying to find out more knowledge about the business like that, not looking to be like, oh, you know, I want to be signed kind of thing, but just wanting to be heard and get feedback. And then it's like, boom, out of all of this, and then you figure out who Ninth actually is, and you're like, damn, like, wow.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, so I've been listening to your music and the songs that you produced, including the Destiny's Child girl song that I would sing my heart out to in 7th grade. Like, wow,
man,
circle. You know what I mean?
Didn't we all?
Yes, didn't we all? Definitely always loved the songs that he's produced, and it all makes sense now because, you know, it's something that I like kind of gravitate to sound-wise.
Exactly. And being the fact that you know, working with Ninth and stuff like that, and just from the classroom to, let's even address the fact that you went to college, because there's not a lot of artists do go to college. There are artists that do go to college, but this, like I said, this is something completely different. This is like where this really worked to your advantage by going to college. So from going to college and then, you know, having the course with Ninth and then kind of getting that introduction into the industry via that way, and then from working to him, how would you compare both experiences and what can you say like that you overall have learned?
I would say that the two are very similar. Ninth is always teaching. He is so full of like knowledge about hip hop and the culture, literally down to the name of a track or who produced it or what the sample is. From the moment I met Ninth, I've been learning. And he is a true historian at heart. And I think if he wasn't doing music, he would either be doing something with basketball or he would be somewhere literally still teaching history, but like full time. He's doing it now, but I think he would do that full time because he loves it so much. So to compare it from class to now, very similar, except it's just on a smaller scale. You know, like with class, you know, a large group, so it was kind of formulated and, you know, broken down to like, we're going to do this chapter and this chapter. But now it's more of he's like a life coach, a life teacher, a mentor, and, you know, somebody who's not a yes man, someone who is, has taken the time to help me develop as an artist. He's somebody who cares about his artist. And I think he cares about his artist just as much as he cares about his students. So I think comparing the two is it's very similar.
Right. And I can imagine, especially the fact that you've had both experiences, so you can really, you know, honestly say, like, you can really assess and attest to. I like that you can assess and attest to, you know, both situations and being like, hey, you know, like this really was, you know, this was amazing. Hey, this was amazing. This is amazing.
Yes.
So that's dope. Tell me about this single, Japan, and, you know, just kind of the inspiration behind it. And then, you know, how you took the inspiration to the record to then translate it to the acoustic video. Because when I first heard the record, not even looking at the fact that there was an acoustic video, I was like, this is easily a record that has to be acoustic. Like, you got to do a whole acoustic EP.
I love that. You know what? You might get ready to start something now. We might have to do a little acoustic project after the project does.
Trying to tell you.
People love acoustic, including me. That's why I love watching other artists' covers with acoustic or, you know, originals with acoustic guitar. She survived. So,
yeah, and just strip it down.
But yeah, I think it's a good opportunity to kind of like give the listener a chance to focus on the vocal and, you know, just the like you said, it stripped it down. But on the record, The inspiration behind it is very simple. I wanted it to be a love song, and I wanted it to be a song where people felt like they can get away, and I wanted it to be a vibe and something that people can relax and chill to, and kind of just come up with their own vision of what's happening in the storyline of the song. You know, nothing specific about actually traveling to Japan personally for me ever. I'm definitely inspired a lot by the culture in Japan. I've been able to connect with a lot of people fan-wise who are either in Japan now or who have lived in Japan.
Oh, wow.
The artist who came over and actually helped me write the song. She's a vocalist who has traveled to Japan several times, and all that I've heard about Japan is the beautiful culture of soul music and how much they love and support R&B music. So all of that tied in one is what makes the inspiration of Japan. And I'm so glad it's being received so well. And, you know, it's just like all the instruments in it. And
yes.
We wanted to set the tone for the album with Japan. And I think we did a good job with that.
Definitely. And I feel like it definitely is going to set the tone. So how does, if you don't mind me jumping right to it, how does Japan kind of set the tone for this project, Boutique Hotel? Because first of all, that title, it's just so dope. Like, how does it just...
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you.
Because it's different and it's a tone setter.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think Japan it was the perfect song to set the tone. You know, it's funny. One of the other songs on Jam was the Squad 2, which is a compilation record that we released last year. One Love will also be on the album as well. And that was actually the first song that I recorded to start the vibe of the album. So One Love and Japan both set the tone for this album. Japan followed after One Love, but both of them are very musical, very like vibey, jazzy, soulful vibes. It's not quite neo soul. It's like it's in its own. It's like in its own lane. And all of the other songs followed right behind in their own way. All of the songs have live instruments. All of them were created organically. All features happened organically from people that I have relationships with and are cool with, and, you know, just genuinely wanted to create good music. And everybody involved really just loves music wholeheartedly, and I think that's what makes it so special.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think people are definitely going to get appreciation for the album because, like you said, it's been organic. You know, everything that you're singing about, and the fact that the instrumentation, the storyline, and the concept of the project to One Love, to Japan, it's like it's just organic, and people love that about R&B music. And you know, R&B doesn't have to be the new traditional way. It can really just be very R&B. Like, I've noticed that a lot of even male artists nowadays are really just taking the tone of saying, hey, we like that trappy turn up stuff, but we don't have to be that all the time. And I think that that's amazing that people can say, let's kind of separate what that is and do what's good for the heart and what's good for what's going to make an impact. Not saying that doesn't impact people, but your music is the type of music that's going to impact. Bryson Tiller ain't going to impact me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Oh, man, thank you. Yeah, I told Nice earlier, I'm trying to follow behind what, you know, the vibes and literally the culture of what Anita Baker brought the music, or what Sade brought the music, and what Mary J. Blige brought the music. That's what I don't want to ever go away, and I want to be a part of, you know, the process to keep building on that vibe and that sound. In my own way, though, you know.
Right. No, and I feel like that's really a good goal and kind of thing that you want to, you know, continue to follow and stuff like that, because we're talking about legendary artists who can sing for damn and have mad vocals, and so do you. And one thing that they always were about was staying true to their message and to their artistry and staying true as a woman. And I think that's the one thing that people shy away from. It's like, no, ladies, I'm here to tell you as a fella, be true to who you are. Right. You know, tell your story, tell your message, and do it unapologetically, where people can be like, you know what, I felt everything that she said because my mom went through that, my grandmother went through that, my auntie's going through that.
Yes, a clear depiction of life, just the ups and downs of what I've gone through, and hopefully it can be relatable to somebody and help somebody through whatever it is that is going through, whether it's good or bad.
Exactly. And you guys have been on an independent journey with your music and stuff like that. Do you ever see that maybe, bringing your music to a major scale, or do you feel like, honestly, independent is the best way? Even though independent really is the wave, but, how do you ever see that, like, in the near future?
Absolutely. I would like to take the music as far as it can go, whether that means being mainstream, whether that means independent, whether that means doing both. Faith-based person, and I'm really, really confident that God is going to take the music as far as that He would want it to go. And I'm absolutely okay with it going mainstream. My main goal is to remain in control over what I create and what I put out, and to stay solid and be on one accord with my team, Jamla. And wherever it takes us, I'm ready for it.
Absolutely. And that's a positive attitude to have. Like, you're like, listen, it can go either which way. I'm cool with it. I just want, my team and I to be on the same page and make a powerful impact. Because that's what it's all about, making a powerful impact, whichever way direction it goes. Because, hey, you can go one direction and it may not be, it might not work out, but at least, hey, we were touching people. We made the best decision that we thought that was right. Hey, we always can make a better decision. And hey, guess what? We got the next project. We have so much more in store.
Absolutely.
So that's amazing. And now with this project and stuff like that, so in fall, how soon can we say that? Is it October? Is it November? And are you going to do a tour with the album too?
I'm not sure. Hopefully just as soon as possible. I would like to have it out in the third quarter versus the fourth quarter. And I would absolutely love and plan to do a tour, whether that's 3 cities, 5 cities, 10 cities, whatever opportunities are available to me. I love doing shows. I love doing live shows. And I've taken a break from doing shows for the last couple of years because I've been working on the music. But that's where my heart is on stage. And I cannot wait until everybody, including myself, can hear what, the band and the MD is able to put together, because we were doing really, really good shows in like 2014, 2015. So I'm like, now with this music, I can't imagine how great it's going to sound, because not only have I had the opportunity to go, but they have too as musicians. So I think that going on tour would be really, really a great experience, and it would bring the album to life. So we just gonna pray on it. How about that?
Yes, pray on it. That's exactly what we're going to do. And I was going to say, I've saw some videos from you performing in 2014 and 2015, and you guys were really rocking. So I'm sure your fans, and most importantly yourself and your team, are really looking forward to, bringing the classic records that you from your previous projects, and then bringing it with that new swag of this new project, and really bringing a whole new show, and incorporating some of the old elements to where it's rememberable from your performances.
Yes, absolutely. Got a lot of old jams too, so it'll be fun to just put everything together and just get back on the stage again.
Exactly. So now, have you been while recording this new project like that? Have you been still rehearsing, or have you just more so been focused on the writing, the production, and just kind of where's the focus kind of been during the process of this?
I haven't. Over the course of 2 years, I've done some shows here and there. So yeah, I've had the opportunity to rehearse, just a little bit for sporadic shows that I've done. But as far as anything major as far as rehearsing for the new songs and new material, not yet. But it is something that I plan on doing very soon. It's been intense. It's been a very intense couple of years for me. Really have just totally been locked in doing the music and working on the album, and we started in January 2018, and I went through a lot personally, and I can't wait to, just talk about it more.
Right.
Because I know that what I've been through is going to be a testimony for other people. But I just went through a lot of things, a lot of transitions. When I graduated college, I worked full time. I didn't really feel confident enough to do music full time just because of where I'm from. I felt the pressures of life hit hard at 23, like
Right.
trying to juggle the two. Trying to figure out where I'm going to go with it, how I'm going to do it, how am I going to survive, how am I going to be independent and do music. So from 2013 to 2016, I worked full time, and after a while, I started doing more shows. I started to notice that I do still have fans. Got a call to do a show for Fox called Shots Fired in 2016, and that was a jump start of helping me personally as a woman, a growing woman, literally, going through my 20s to build the confidence to, just say no to everybody else who doubted me or people who told me that I couldn't do music full time. I never make it. I made a choice and I jumped off the cliff, as they say, and I gave up my somewhat lavish, independent 24, 25-year-old life of living alone, having a one-bedroom apartment. And, I moved home with my mom for a while. And, that was the beginning of me trying to, literally figure out who I was as an artist and doing it full time. And it was like a new reality for me. It was very scary. I went through a lot. I got in a major car accident. And what was that? The end of 2017. I totaled my car and I was carless for like 5 months. So, it's stuff like that artists go through that people don't see on the surface that makes for the content of what we put out in the music. So
Amen.
At that time, I felt like I was going to break almost, but I didn't. I look back and I can think, the faith in God, the faith that I had in my team, the support that I got from my team, that I was able to, number one, do music full time. Number two, have the means to get by and make sure that I was eating every day. And, it was just a lot going on amongst all of that. But it did make for a really, really extremely great album. Like I said, I had my car accident at the end of 2017, and the holidays went by. That was a hard holiday season. And then January 2018, I started on an album, and I started doing a lot of researching for myself and my family musically, and I was able to discover some things about my own grandfather and his lineage of jazz music. Yeah, that part, a lot for me as an artist to dig deeper and understand who I am as a person and as an artist, and trying to explore a little bit different vibes and different sounds. And in that moment, I was finding my sound and who I was, but I didn't even know what was happening. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like because I wrecked my car, because I didn't have transportation, because I wasn't working full time, and because I was in such a vulnerable state, I was able to discover a lot about myself and ultimately find the sound that I've been looking for years.
Wow. All of that, what you said right there, let me tell you, first of all, you've made my entire week just saying all of that. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You have made my entire week saying all of that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I literally preach that to my followers on social media every single day. And even with my own movement and stuff like that, I tell people you have to go through trials and tribulations just to make a good story. And you have to live life and go through hardships just to experience, what that is. And it's not easy being a young creative at in your 20s, whether you decide to go to college or you don't, but you graduated, and the fact that you said, listen, it was not easy. I went from, working a full-time job then to saying, hey, you know what? My independent, lavish life, I'm going to put that on hold and really work at my craft. A lot of people don't understand that we as creatives have to do things like that and take our time, and that sometimes, listen, just because it was comfortable when we were doing the independent thing, there was really something deep down inside that was saying, you know what, you got to go in this direction. This is the direction that it's got to happen, and it's going to happen. Don't rush the process. Trust the process. And I'm telling you, I literally had this conversation and have this conversation on a day-to-day basis with people, but I literally had this conversation with somebody just the other night.
Wow.
So this gave me
that's what I'm talking about.
All confirmation.
it's relatable. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's so true and so relatable, and knowing that all of us are going through something, and it's just important that the decisions that we make are always based upon loving ourselves and not trying to please other people. And that's something else that I got caught up in. So it's all about growth and finding where you want to be and how to do that. I agree.
And let me ask you also, what words of encouragement would you give to a Black woman graduating college, not necessarily sure what direction to go? Parents might be in her ear, friends are saying this, but she's feeling differently about what everybody is saying around her, but she's feeling like some of that might be true. What do you say? Because you took chances and you took risks in your journey, and you still do. What advice do you have for the woman that's going through that right now?
My advice would be to just keep the faith in God and not in other people, and also to not compromise, for things that don't compromise. Period. That's something I also talk about in the album. That inserted something about that particularly. I did a lot of compromising. I lowered my standards for people, whether that's relationship, friendship, anything. Like, what I would say is don't compromise and always put yourself first.
Yes.
And your goals and your dreams, no matter how big they are, it's possible. It's possible to happen. And like you said, don't rush it. Take your time and allow yourself to grow. Give yourself the time to grow. Don't compare yourself to other people. And just allow your journey to be your journey. That's what I would say. Period. Don't compromise. We ain't got time for that.
No time for that. Wow, Heather. Thank you so much for this conversation, literally making my whole entire week. Like, I can't even.
Oh, thank you. You made my entire week too. Just wanted to interview little old me. Thank you so much.
No problem. I can't even put it in words. Like, I wasn't even going to say this while we doing this interview, but I literally want to just burst into tears because this is so beautiful, hearing your story and hearing, like your journey through music, and just, like how you went through trials and tribulations, and you had to figure it out to, really live your life and to inspire the music, and, to really feel that confidence to do it. Not like you ever stopped, because you didn't. You were doing shows, you were going through life, you were experiencing, you were living. It never stops there. And I think that's the biggest thing. Just
right.
Because you don't see somebody on social media, people, doesn't mean that their life has stopped. There's other things going.
Yes, absolutely.
So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
No,
I appreciate you.
Absolutely. So, Heather, tell everybody where they can follow you on social media, download the single, stay connected, because listen, after hearing this, they got to if they already ain't following you. And I'm telling you, they better follow. Period.
Yes, I'm gonna follow you as well.
Oh yeah.
You can find me on Instagram right now. It's Heather Victoria with 2 underscores in the middle. And then I'm on YouTube as well under Heather Victoria. Twitter I have right now. You can just search my name, Heather Victoria. It should pop up, but the @ is at Beat Vic Jagger. So we're working on getting that changed. But right now you can find me at Beat Vic Jagger, 2 E's, and on Instagram Heather Victoria with 2 underscores in the middle.
Hey.
Oh, Facebook. I forget about Facebook.
Yeah, you gotta give them the Facebook.
Facebook. Yes, Facebook is live too. Heather Victoria on Facebook. Find me everywhere.
Listen, and I'm about to follow you on all that. That way we can stay connected and stay in touch with me too. Please, please, please.
Yes.
I will definitely be continuing to support, your musical journey, just your journey, period. And just keep inspiring, everybody from men to women to the culture to just music lovers, R&B. Just keep it up.
Thank you. Hey, it's Heather Victoria, and I'm here with the one and only Duane.